So storytelling, that's really the future of marketing. It's the experiences in your life that define who you are. I think the other thing people forget is like your mindset is like a muscle, and people think that they get a quick fix and they're good. It's something you got to work at every single day, day in and day out, every single day. One thing I talked about was, coming up with 3 stories that define you. It'll be different for everybody, but you have to remember what those stories are. You have to be able to retell them to tell people how you got where you are.
Try to start on time, end on time, very important for anything you do. So I'm going to try to keep this about 10 minutes long. And then from there, there's going to be a call to action at the end where for those of you that want a little bit more, we're basically, if you're interested, I have a solution for you that I've been working on, and it should be available by Monday of next week. So that's kind of what I have for you guys. All right, so kind of want to start first with one of the biggest secrets. This is probably very important for everybody that I learned from Michael was, I've watched him and he's helped me when I've been in situations where I'm doing something and then he realized right away that like it's something that's going to hold me back or hold our company back or our Pro Consulting back because I'm doing something that takes up so much time, and it's actually not losing us money. It's not a negative thing at all, but it's actually just something that is not going to help us get where we want to go. So he's been really good at identifying that. And one of the ones we talked about recently was that when I was doing MABA calls. So MABA, for those of you who don't know, it's a coaching program where we talk once a month and we do a hot seat. And basically we coach school owners on just how to just get out of where they are. Most of the situations, the marketing's poor or they need help with just their mindset, one of those 2 things. So one of the things we identified was every time I was going to the office, Michael would be, he would come in and he'd say, yo, when you're done that phone call, come in the office real quick. And I'd say, oh man, I'm booked till 4 o'clock. And so then the next day would come and it was like the same thing. And then, so I was only spending from 5 to 7 or 6 to 9 or whatever time we worked to go over the strategies and discussions. So it became very apparent that that program was starting to be, something that was very tough for me to continue with, which is why we actually decided to grow our team. And for those of you that have been working with Dedouche, okay, I love his name, Aka, we have all these cool names, Tim Crater, Mike Storms, Mike Frere, Mario Cesario, any of those guys, let's give them some love real quick. Those guys have been kicking ass by just basically helping so many of you on call. So that was why we decided to grow the team. And also it's basically because there was a lot of school owners that I told Michael that I wasn't even able to get to anymore. I was barely able to get back to their messages. So these guys, have just been tremendous in the community. I know they're helping so many of you with just, different tips, and they're doing coaching. Some of them are working with 20, 30 clients already. So props to those guys. So some of the ways that when I was on the phone and my days were consuming me, and this is something that you probably relate to in private lessons, okay, in doing intro lessons all the time, cleaning, opening, closing. These are kind of feelings I felt that I think you'll relate to. So the first thing was I always felt like there was no time. So if you're in a feeling of having no time to really do anything to grow because you're busy doing anything, then that's when there's something you need to take a closer look at. The other thing too was I also started feeling rushed, and I was getting back to old days of where I was just grinding and going crazy on the phone, and I didn't like to feel rushed. So imagine you're racing for the clock because you're doing every intro lesson, every private lesson, and you're racing for to get everything ready, rushing. So when people come in for the real part of your facility, which is the classes, you're kind of burned out or you're kind of tired. So I was just on the phone all day long, and by the end of the day I was just burnt. So I wasn't rushing to anything because I was done, but I can only imagine how you guys feel if you're so busy doing all these other things. And then by the time classes come, you're like spent. And then, the other thing was, I also didn't like how the days were controlling me. So I talk about freedom and having a lifestyle. And it was great that we grew and we had so many clients, but I started noticing that my days were controlling me. So meaning that my wife would say, hey babe, you want to go get something to eat, or you want to do this, or you want to do that? I'm like, oh, I can't. And I'm on the phone, break, phone, break, phone, break. And it was kind of not where I wanted to be. So I think you can relate to a lot of these things that I'm talking about where, if you're doing intro lessons back to back to back, private lessons, cleaning, all those different types of things, opening, closing, you're opening the school, closing the school, So what I realized was that, when I started talking to the most successful people, and this is kind of where I realized that whatever I was doing was not working, and you're going to understand this in a second. When I started talking to Joe Polish, Russell Brunson, Ryan Dice, and these Frank Kern, some of the best marketers on the planet, the one common denominator, and this is the thing that you want to do, is when you study successful people, there's usually patterns. They say success leaves clues, but there's usually these patterns. And the one thing they talked about, all of them, when I would speak to them about what I'm doing, like they were just like laughing at me. They're like, oh, really, man? Wow. So like, how do you spend any time marketing your business if you're on the phone all day? And I was like, oh, I've been getting up early doing this. They're like, oh, so you're like, you're having to work more and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I'm down for that. I like to get up and reflect in the morning. I like to get up and meditate in the morning. That's what they were kind of saying. I like to get up and do my daily ritual, which is another cool tip I have coming in a couple weeks to you guys. So what I realized was that, even for me, I decided in 2017, and this is kind of what I think you should be thinking about as well. Like, you have got to become obsessed with your marketing. You have to be obsessed as a marketer. So in order for me to do so, in order for you to do so, in order for you to really dive into it and do what I'm about to show you in a second, like you can't be doing and putting 90% of your energy into doing intro lessons, private lessons, opening, cleaning, all these different things. You've got to figure out the solution quick. And you said, whether it's building a team, hiring an additional staff member, whatever, the longer you're doing that, the longer you're going to hold yourself back. And you might be doing okay. You might be doing, well, Nick, I'm making 6 figures. Or like, okay, cool. The thing is, for those you want more, then you're the people that need to listen. If you're okay with that, great. And you love doing it in the school every day, like living there and being the man or the woman teaching every single class. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not what I've ever wanted. So maybe for those of you that's not what you want, this is kind of going to be for you. So the friend Michael talks about this a lot too, making that list of all those things that are preventing you from getting to doing what you need to do, which is becoming obsessed with marketing, getting your Facebook campaigns together, having your planners and calendars mapped out like this, okay? Having all your strategies written on paper, okay? All these types of things, you're not gonna be able to really put a lot of effort into it if you're busy doing everything else that we talked about. So that's very important. So here's what I want you to do. If for those of you that that really want this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a free course. Okay, and it's pretty simple. It's going to be about. I started going through it in my head, and I'm like, all right, I know exactly what we need to do now. Your job is to take care of you allowing yourself to come over here and work with me. Okay, and it's free. I'm just going to give it to everyone that for those of you that follow me and share my videos, you guys are all getting it for free. So anyone that basically that is more interested in becoming obsessed with marketing for 2017, we're going to go through. I made a 5-step process, and I'm going to give you 3 of them today. And at first you're going to say oh, you're ready for this exactly what to do. But the first thing is starting with your mindset, because it does involve a lot of mindset stuff with this. So I'm going to go through this, and then I'll talk about this free course at the end. So the first thing is, and I made this board, but you guys can't see it because it's backwards. Okay, so this is what I plan on doing. Once I get my Mevo camera hooked up, I will start doing videos like this, so you're able to read it. All right, and I'm able to give you direct action steps for you to take. So you can't read it, but I'm just going to go through it for you. But to give you an idea of what I'm trying to do down here, once I get that Meebo camera. It's been a pain. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I can't get it to go live. So I'm playing with that. That'll prevent that from looking backwards. So the first thing for you guys, okay, when it's becoming obsessed with marketing, is that you have to really understand, and this is something that you think you might know, maybe something you do know, but most of you don't know. You have to understand that marketing is very simple, and it's all based on a foundation. It's just like running a business, okay? It's just like, yourself. It's like going to the gym. Like, if your foundation and you overcomplicate it, you make it into this massive thing that's very complicated, like, it's not. There's pretty much 3 to 4 core things that have to be going on continuously, okay, every single month. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start back with showing you that and bringing you back to the foundation of when you're starting to, becoming obsessed with marketing, that you're not overcomplicated and think that it's this massive, project that's impossible. It's not. So I want to break down the foundation. Obviously, social media, website, the direct response, okay, email marketing, social media are the major ones. But I'm going to break down the foundation for you and help you understand that that's where everything starts. It's not worried about making advanced techniques or funnels or things that are, trying to create things that when your foundation's broken. That's what happens when you're out there watching everything and listening to all these different people or different things, is that take a step back. Before you, like, anyone could sell you something that looks like very overcomplicated or like you need it desperately. But the thing is, everything comes down back to the foundation. When that's solid, then it's easier to add on another layer. When this is broken, okay, or it's not complete, or like you have bits and pieces put together, and then you're trying to add on top of it, it's the same thing like going to the gym. All right, it's the same thing. You go to the gym and you're basically bench pressing, you have horrible form, okay? You're curling and you're like this, and then you're eating like shit. All right, well, what happens? Then you look like shit. It's the same thing with this. So that's number one. We're gonna get back to not overcomplicating our marketing and getting our foundation structured properly. So when you do become obsessed with marketing in 2017, like when we're talking, like you just know what's going on. You know exactly everything I'm talking about, okay? So second thing, all right, and this is what I'm gonna talk about as far as this is gonna relate to the calendars, okay? But I wanted to break it down for those of you that follow football. You need to be an offensive coordinator. Now, for those of you that don't know football, it's okay. But what I'll explain to you is when you watch the NFL and you watch an offensive coordinator, and sometimes you see me do this, and Michael thinks it's like shady and stuff. I'm talking to someone like this. I'm usually talking about some kind of marketing idea. I'm like, yo, we need to do this shit. It's sick. All right? But so I had to stop doing that. But an offensive coordinator, what they do is they have a playbook, but it's like laminated. And so it's more like this, just a one thing like this. And if you notice on there, there's all these different types of plays, okay? There's all these different things like, that would say short yardage situations, long yardage situations, fake attempts, risky plays. It's all broken down. And what they're doing is, you notice like they're calling the play in. And they cover their lips because there used to be lip readers on other sides of the teams, believe it or not, that would steal the plays. So that as a marketer, without being an offensive coordinator and not coordinating your marketing, like, so you have the foundation. Second step, being a coordinator, okay, having this calendar, all right, having all your strategies written out, have everything planned on who has to do what, all right. Without having that, again, and then you're trying to add more advanced stuff. It's like, again, adding a piece of shit to like a pile of shit. You don't want to do that. So that's the second thing, being an offensive coordinator. All right, and then the third thing that I think it's for a lot of us, okay, is really just not knowing where to begin. All right, and I think that a lot of everybody wants to improve their marketing. They want to get a lot better, but you really are just like, you know what? Oh my God, Nick, this sounds great, and I think I'm doing okay. I'm getting paid trials, but I want to do more of what you're doing. I want to do different things. I want to add more videos. I want to try to make my video, add on more, different services. I want to see if there's anything else I could do to grow my reach, whatever it is. And you just really don't know where to start. You don't really know where to go. Well, I'm going to break that down for you too. So the three things to recap, all right, pretty simple, nothing too overcomplicated for everybody. All right, first thing, the first part of the course, the foundation, all right, is making sure that You're not overcomplicating things, and you actually understand everything. It's like, and there's going to be a checklist, finally, a checklist of everything. So that way you can go down one by one, see what's done, see what's not done, and implement it and get it done. So you have this, you're going to get a checklist one by one of everything that should be going on. Go down it, use it, and you'll see weaknesses and what needs to be strengthened so your foundation's strong. So foundation's strong, we're ready to go. It's 2017. That's why I'm going to offer this course next week. And then the second thing is, I'm going to break down and give you a to-do list. I'm sorry, like a list of exactly what you need to buy, all right, and what you need to have in order to be that offensive coordinator I talked about. It's going to cost you $100. A whiteboard, a couple different, things and reports that you're going to have, like checklists, maybe not even. But to me, like, listen, when I was running the schools back in the day, we had a giant whiteboard. I called it the in-your-face board. And I don't care who you are, but for those who know me, when I was there, we enrolled more people than anybody in the kids program ever, right, than any school in the country. And we did it with zero cost marketing. It was all word of mouth, birthday parties, follow-ups. It was the old school shit. But without that whiteboard, let me tell you something. Like, we never would have been able to know like what we needed or what was going on. We would have been clueless. So I'm kind of bringing this back. So I know most of us don't have a marketing calendar like the one I'm going to show you, but you're going to be this badass offensive coordinator. Remember we talked about it, guys? BAMFs, badass motherfuckers, badass marketers, whatever. That's what we're going to train you in this course to be. All right. And then the third thing again. All right. Sounds great, Nick. Okay. I don't even know where to begin. And for those of you that think you need a little bit more, we're going to tie it all together. And then there's 2 other parts of the course. Sound good? If sounds good, give me some love. Let me know that I'm not boring everybody. So hopefully that sounds good to everybody. And let me see what you have coming in here. All right. So while we're waiting to see if anybody liked what I talked about, the last thing I want you to do, okay, same thing. Thank you, guys. Anybody who's want access to this course, okay, all you need to do is share my video on my Nick D public profile page. I need you to like that page, all right, just like I did last time. And then on Monday, once the course is completed, everyone that shared it, anyone that shares this video that I'm particularly doing right now, you will get the actual login to the course. It'll be free for you, all right? And that'll be on Monday. This is not something you want to wait till January. All right, I'm committed in helping you get this done. I have to go to Arizona tomorrow, but I'm still so most of it already is done. I just got to organize it. And then Monday you'll have access to this. So that is the plan. And if there's any questions, post below. If not, it's time to get to stepping. Sorry, I went 2 minutes over. I wanted to stay at 8:15. So if there's any questions below, if not, I'd like to thank everyone for watching this video. And I think Michael and myself are going to do, or Michael and I are going to do a video later today. I know there's some things he wanted to talk about, so I'm excited about that. And if not, guys, thank you, Frankie. I appreciate that. So thank you. I said it sounds awesome. Cool. So on the Nick D public profile page, share the post, and I'm going to be playing this a couple times and email this out to everybody. And then from there, that's it. Monday, you'll get access to the course. It'll be free. So I'm excited about that. All right. Thank you, Carrie Ann. Thank you so much. And it looks like there's no questions coming in. So thank you so much, guys, and I'm out. Peace.